What's up, you guys? How y'all doing? I have returned for another video this time, and I am ready for a little something that I never thought I'd actually do. And also want to add in, I wanted to add in something that I never included in my recap from Seattle. But first of all, guys, before I get to that, just remember, subscribe. That's how this channel grows. I want to keep my monetization status. So let's get into this. I'm going to put up my banner here. That's right. I never thought I'd actually do a video like this, but I have to say that Ricky Carmichael did a big improvement from his job in the booth at Seattle. I mean, when Jason Wagon calling it, and Carmichael is earlier the year, you may have heard a Cooksey talk about Ricky referencing wheelbarrows or whatnot, and I was in agreement. Like, what the heck was he talking about? And I know that Cooksey's been kind of ripping into Carmichael, and some of the things he says, I actually very much agree with. But I thought all that went out the window. At least some of that went out the window, at least for now, with what I saw from Carmichael in the booth at Seattle. Because when he talked about his podcast with Ryan Villopoto and how he was very confused or perplexed at all by Sexton's change to KTM, holy crap, I was intrigued. I was intrigued at hearing that. You know, because I'd only heard little bits and pieces of that from a couple friends. But I think that really piqued my interest, you know. I mean, for once, Carmichael actually said some things that were not part of the racing and were very much worth possibly looking into if you wanted to. Not going to lie to you. And this was probably the first time all year long that I actually liked seeing this side of Ricky in the booth this year, you know? Because, you know, so many times he's been kind of making some weird comparisons. I mean, David Bailey was, and of course you would also say that I feel or I think, but David Bailey knew how to use I think or I thought or anything when it came to his job, because I mean, David Bailey was so good at what he did. Like, he called it like he saw it, like Cooksey said. And even when other things or other passes that took place, he didn't think there was enough room for some of those. I can remember Anaheim won in 2000 when David Pingree made a pass on Casey Lytle for the lead, especially in an area where I didn't think there was enough room either. And I got to tell you, I was actually very I was actually intrigued by Ricky saying he was perplexed by Sexton's move to KTM, like why he shouldn't have done it. But of course, things happen. There's nothing we can do about it. But still, for Ricky to actually give an opinion on that, good on him. I thought he took a step forward. I don't think it was a dramatic step. I don't think he erased everything that he kind of been doing wrong, but still, I thought he did a pretty good job. I thought he took a step forward. And of course he does have a little bit more to go to catch up to the likes of James Stewart. And I like James in the booth. I like David Bailey in the booth. And I like Jeff Emig in the booth too. Because frankly, at first I liked Jeff Emig because he was a guy that I remember watching. And then it got to a point where Emig, of course, he had a stutter. He worked on it. Of course, everybody says something so good that it's so hard to repeat it word for word in your mind. And of course, you can't really hold it against them. I mean, everybody goes through that every now and then. And sometimes you kind of flub things. But still, I thought Ricky did a lot of good himself to throw out that he was confused about Sexton's switch to KTM. Now, I know a lot of you might have some differing opinions, about Ricky, which is fine, but still, I thought the last race in Seattle was probably the first time where I actually enjoyed Ricky in the booth. I mean, I thought Jeff Emig was great in the booth. I thought David Bailey was great in the booth, and I thought Denny Stephenson was great in the booth. And by the way, Denny Stephenson, shout out. Of course, I did come across some pretty disturbing news on Instagram from Buddy Antonez that Denny Stephenson was involved in was a victim of a road rage incident, and he was in surgery. And by the way, I also want to send out some good wishes to Denny Stephenson. I hope he pulls through. I thought he did really good when he called the races in 2006. And still, I just want to send my best wishes out to Denny. Hope he pulls through. And we hate to lose him so early in his life too. But still anyway, Carmichael in the booth. I just wanted to give a shout out to Denny Stephenson. I didn't want to go through this video without even including that and just giving my best wishes to him. But anyway, Ricky in the booth. I was actually, like I said, I actually enjoyed him for the first time in the booth this year, probably. But still, after looking back on some, Ricky actually wasn't too bad in the booth. Because I remember in 2004 when the races were on ESPN2, and Ricky actually gave some okay insights to a point where I actually didn't really mind that was it a racing incident? No. And he was able to give a little information himself from his view about what happened. But that's what makes a good TV analyst. If you reference your own life, or if you do what David Bailey did and just call it like you see it, you know. So Ricky, I thought that was a good move on your part to bring in your podcast with Ryan Villopoto. And hell, I was intrigued, like I said earlier, because I'd only heard little bits and pieces from a friend or two, from a couple friends that Sexton hated Supercross. And I was a little intrigued myself, but they probably didn't have as much info, maybe as much as you probably did. And I got to tell you, would I have done a better job at being TV analyst? No. Because I probably would say only one or two things that some people might agree with. Just like what happened in the 250 class when Levi Kitchen was putting Jordan Smith the lap down. I was saying to myself, if you're Levi Kitchen, that's the best feeling in the world, to know that you're lapping the guy that you're chasing in the series. And how do you think James Stewart felt when he put Travis Preston down a lap at San Francisco 2003 in the 125 main? That was the best feeling in the world. And I'm sure that some of you would agree as well that, hey, that's the best feeling in the world, to lap the guy that you're chasing in the series. So I hope Ricky kind of took some of the criticism to heart, and now he could possibly do good in the booth, maybe do a little better in the booth as well. And even talk more about his podcast with Ryan Villopoto about some of the things away from the track. So hopefully he does that. And so we'll see if Ricky takes another step forward or goes back to his old habits when we go to St. Louis this coming Saturday. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. And remember, subscribe. That's how my channel grows. And I'll see you all for St. Louis. So you'll see a recap there. I'll try to do a prediction video later this week. So thanks, guys. Subscribe, and I'll catch you all later.